Hi, I'm Valerie Graham, and welcome back to Natural Bliss. Today we're going to do part 2 of our discussion on essential oils. Today I actually have Brittany Winter as my guest.
Hi, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for coming, Brittany. I'm going to recap for a minute about essential oils. We talked last week about what they were, where they come from, a little bit on how to use them. We're going to go into some more detail today, and I'm going to have Brittany sniff all of my essential oils that I've brought, as
so
you can
excited.
see. Yeah. Okay, so aromatherapy, as we know, is using your sense of smell to unlock memories in your brain. It works like a lock and key. It can trigger different responses to help you relax and help you calm down. Can pep you up or rev you up, depending on what you're smelling. So, we're going to start with smelling 3 oils that all come from the orange tree. So the first we're going to smell is neroli, and neroli comes from the orange flower. It's very pretty. It's very expensive.
Ooh, I like expensive. Ooh, that's pretty. Kind of smells like sunscreen. A little bit. A little bit, yeah. It's got like a citrusy kind of.
It's citrus floral,
yeah.
Exactly.
I like it.
Yep.
Reminds me of summer.
Good. Now we're going to smell petitgrain, and petitgrain comes from the bark and twigs and leaves of the tree. Not really bark, but twigs and leaves of the tree.
It definitely smells like a barkier, more natural smell.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool.
But very different, right?
Yeah, very different. Completely different.
Yes.
And then you told me I have to smell this, right, in between?
Yes. As soon as you start to have
pretty.
sensory overload, you want to smell some coffee beans or some coffee, because that resets your olfactory senses. So you can start again. It's like cleansing your palate for your nose. Next, let's try orange. So this smells like the rind or an orange fruit. So this comes from the peel of the orange, the
Just
rind.
like orange.
Right?
And
And
makes me hungry.
it's cold pressed. That's how we get the essential oil, so they press it out. So there we have, all from one tree, 3 very different types of oils.
Cool. What does the orange tree do? What do these smells help with? Anything?
Petitgrain actually is good for breathing.
Oh.
Neroli is very calming, and a lot of times you'll see it in skincare products. It's great for skin.
Yeah, I like that one.
Orange is the happy oil. So the happy oil, I tell everybody, if you want to put yourself in a cheery mood, you want some orange. That's what orange does.
I can see that.
For me. Okay. We also talked a little bit last time about organic essential oils and what those are. Again, grown without bad pesticides from the approved list only. They're certified organic, so they're approved by a certifying authority. Go back to my first segment, and you can listen to everything that is organic. And there's actually a blog post that I wrote on organic also. So if you look on the Daily Blue, you'll find all of that.
Perfect.
So the first thing I want you to smell, I'm going to have you smell a eucalyptus oil that is not organic. This is the regular eucalyptus. It's going to smell very much like what you would think a eucalyptus smells like.
Okay.
Okay. This particular one is Eucalyptus radiata, because I only use radiata and smithy. I don't use Eucalyptus globulus, which is your common eucalyptus, or blue eucalyptus. These are narrow leaf eucalyptus, it's called. So now I want you to smell the organic version.
So is the organic safer for your skin, or is there not a difference?
Well,
whoa, it's completely different.
Right. Now, which one did you prefer?
I think I prefer the non-organic one.
You and me both, which is why I tell people organic does not mean necessarily that the oils are better.
Right.
What it means is, yes, you can be assured that they are grown without preservatives. They're grown without pesticides. It's
That's strong.
Yeah, very strong, but a totally, completely different smell. And this is one that I don't use. I brought it just so you can see the difference.
It's a crazy difference.
And so sometimes organic is not necessarily better. You need to know what the scent profile is that you want and then go from there.
Okay.
So now you know that just eucalyptus doesn't really mean, organic eucalyptus doesn't mean better.
Yeah, it's not exactly what I thought.
Exactly. Now, I'm going to have you smell some eucalyptus smithy, and we're going to talk about this a little later on because this is the child-safe eucalyptus.
Oh, okay.
But again, it's going to have a different smell than what you smelled before.
It's almost like a mix between the organic and the regular. It's like a halfway point.
Right. A little earthier?
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay. So it's a little lighter in scent, which is why it's good for kids. Just remember when you're using essential oils, the less is more concept. Okay, more is not better. You want to use as little as possible to do what you need to do. They're very powerful, very concentrated, only a few drops if you're going to use them, and you'll get the benefit. They are meant to be diluted, so if you're using them topically, they can cause sensitization. And again, just remember, if you want to know how to dilute them, you can go to my website, crystalblueinternational.com, crystal with a K. And if you go to aromatherapy, you'll find the dilution ratios. There's a page that you can scroll to, and it'll tell you if you're diluting in 2 ounces, you need this many drops for children, this many for adults, this many if you're using it as a massage oil, things like that. So you can find a lot of information on my website. Now, let's touch a little bit on the term therapeutic grade. So therapeutic grade essential oils, you'll see that around a lot, and that really doesn't have much of a meaning. It is a trademarked phrase that one of the big multi-level marketing companies trademarked.
Wow, okay.
So I will call them aromatherapeutic oils or things like that. When I use the term therapeutic, it means it's not a fragrance oil, it's not a synthetic oil, it is a true essential oil. But that term therapeutic grade doesn't really mean anything, and there is no grading system for essential oils.
Oh, so it's just kind of a made up.
It is, exactly.
Okay.
So you want to look for pure, you want 100% pure and natural, but therapeutic grade has little meaning. Adulterated is another thing that happens sometimes. We'll talk when we get to the lavenders a little bit about what happens with lavender oil. So adulteration is when you're expecting a pure essential oil and what you get is an altered scent. So either they've put some chemical constituents back into it to give it a particular scent profile, and that can happen often. It's actually called nature identical. They add different things that are missing to get a particular scent profile.
Oh, okay.
You can, sometimes you will find, especially like with sandalwood, they will extend sandalwood with an oil, a carrier oil, and not disclose it on the label. Because sandalwood is a thicker, more viscous oil, so sometimes you won't realize it, but they'll do that. And sometimes they'll combine a few different oils that are a little less expensive so that they can get a cheaper version of the oil.
So is that why when you go to stores and you smell some different brands, if I smelled sandalwood by one brand and then another, like sometimes they don't smell anything alike? Could that be from the mixtures that they put in it?
Sometimes it can be from that. Sometimes it is just the crop. And as I discussed last week, a lot has to do with the amount of water, the amount of sun that a crop gets, the amount of time that it sits before it's actually distilled, when it's harvested. So it's like fine wine. From year to year, every time you distill, you can get a whole different scent.
Wow.
But what I do want to say is that if it is disclosed on the label that it is a 3% dilution or a 5 or a 10% dilution, that's okay. You know what you're buying. It's when they don't disclose that and you find, that something's not right about it.
Yeah.
Okay? So let's talk about the dilution ratio. So this is a jasmine, and this is in a 3% jojoba.
Oh my God, that smells so good. Whoa, that's my favorite so far. Giving it back.
Okay. Well, that one is a jasmine
so good.
sambac.
I love it.
And as we spoke last time, we need to talk about and purchase oils based on the Latin name. So this is jasmine sambac, and this is jasmine grandifolium. Again, it's a 3% dilution in
That's good
a
too.
jojoba.
I like that one better, but this is really good too. They both smell a little bit like gardenia to me.
Okay, and jasmine it will have, that it's a white
so I'm not
flower
crazy.
similar to a gardenia.
Which is one of my favorites also. So.
Okay, so, but you're getting two different essential oils. Sometimes they're similar in properties and profiles, sometimes not. Let's go on to the lavender. So lavender, again, if you don't know the Latin name that you want, there are many different species of lavender that you'll find. So we are going to smell some lavender angustifolia or lavender officinalis. They're both the same term, Latin species name. So that is a lavender.
Okay. I said I liked lavender the best, but I think I like jasmine better.
Okay. Now I'm going to have you smell this lavender and see what you think of that one. And tell me if it smells different.
Not really. Not to me. They smell sweet.
Right. Okay. And now let's try this.
I'm getting smell overload.
Yes, smell overload is right. This lavender.
That's different.
Okay, so the first two that you smelled were both lavenders from the same distiller, the same crop. It probably was distilled in a reasonably close amount of time. This is the same Latin species, lavender, but as you said, it smells different than the others. Now, this is from a different distiller and a different. So, as you asked,
this one smells a little more organic or natural than the other two. The other two smell a little sweeter to me.
Okay.
Am I off?
No, it totally just is a different scent profile. They're all the same.
Okay.
Lavender. So if you went into the store and you said, how come this one smells different than that brand or whatever? So here you're smelling lavender angustifolia, all three of them.
Interesting.
And right, some will smell a little different than others. You also have lavandula latifolia, which is spike lavender. That's a plant that grows lower in a lower altitude, and it's a smaller shrubby bush. It's a different species that will have a much more camphorous smell to it, so more like rosemary. You'll get a little more rosemary in that scent than the sweeter, like you're smelling here. And then there is something called lavandin, which is a hybrid of both the angustifolia and the latifolia. And so that's a mix. That's a hybrid that they have created. Okay, so be sure you know exactly what you want and what you're buying and go by the Latin species name. And even then, you're going to have differences. They are not going to smell the same, as Brittany pointed out. So lavender is a synergy oil, and in aromatherapy we talk a lot about blending, and that's really what a trained aromatherapist does. I create different blends, and the concept of synergy is that think 1 + 1 = 5. Okay, so just get your head around that. Grasp that for a minute. 1 + 1 = 5. So I add 2 different essential oils, and the sum of that oil is much greater than either one of those by itself.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so now I'm going to have you try my Lavender Meadows blend.
Okay, so this is 1 + 1.
This is 1 + 1 is 5, right?
Oh, see, that's nice. Different.
Okay, but it's
What's
yes.
in that? I smell something and I can't put my
This
finger
is-
on it. One of the 5.
Lavender, geranium, clary sage, and ylang-ylang.
Sage. I smell. Maybe that's what it is.
Clary sage is like salvia in your garden.
Oh.
So, but this will be even more calming and relaxing
I
than
can
even
see
just
that.
the lavender itself.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean by a synergy. I want to just touch on a little bit about eucalyptus and peppermint and children. So if you're using them around children, I don't know where this came from, but here's some peppermint for you to smell. And all of a sudden, everybody wants to use peppermint with children.
Why is that?
I don't know, and it's really not a great idea. Peppermint
Smells like peppermint.
Smells like peppermint, but peppermint is really not a child-safe oil. Even diluted, it's not an oil that should be used around children or on children topically. I think what happened was somebody out there started saying you can use it to bring down fevers, and I just be aware that it can cause menthol toxicity, and there are reports of children that have had seizures and have to go to the hospital.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's really not an oil that I recommend as an aromatherapist to be used around children. Eucalyptus is another one. Eucalyptus globulus is not a child-friendly eucalyptus. I don't use it. I don't have it here. But we did smell the eucalyptus smithy, which is the earthier one. That is definitely recommended. You can use that around children. And there is the eucalyptus radiata, which is in between. And you can use that on children if you need to, but I prefer the smithy. So the peppermint is very stimulating. You should be perked up from that.
It was strong.
Okay. So what else can you use with children? Mandarin, which is in the orange family, is great. It's similar to lavender, very relaxing, very calming. I unfortunately don't have one for us to smell, but that's a really nice oil. You can use that. Now, sandalwood. We spoke a little bit about Brittany's favorite. So I have 2 different sandalwoods here. First one is our New Caledonia sandalwood.
Okay, let's see.
That's going to smell very close to what most people think of
Like a
as
beach
sandalwood. Sandalwood is been very over harvested. True sandalwood is East Indian sandalwood, and it comes from the Mysore region of India. Now, this one is an Australian sandalwood. So the difference between these two, a different scent, again, profile than the first one you smelled, but either one of these are sustainably harvested. So that's another thing that you want to look for when you're buying oils. The East Indian sandalwood is tremendously expensive these days because there literally are no sandalwood trees left.
Wow.
So we're moving to Australia. New Caledonia is in the South Pacific, also near, not too far from Australia. So, you know, just be aware when you're buying, what you're looking for. We spoke a little bit about last time. I just want to remind everybody, the sensory experience will be at the Babylon Street Fair in front of Healthy Alternatives.
Yes, I'm excited for this.
Yeah, October 17th, 18th, and 19th, and you can come choose your carrier oil. You can choose what types of bottles you would like. You can choose which of my proprietary signature blends you'd like. Yes. And we'll put it all together for you. So come visit us on that. And October 8th, which is a Wednesday evening, I will be hosting a seminar on essential oils. So if you'd like to learn more, it'll be about an hour and a half, 2 hours. That will take place at Bubble in Babylon. On the corner of Deer Park Avenue and Main Street. And it's hosted by Healthy Alternatives. So if you'd like more information, you do need to sign up. It's a $10 fee, but call Healthy Alternatives 631-587-4629, and they'll be happy to sign you up. And for your $10, you're going to get a gift certificate to buy any kind of essential oil, not just mine, but anything that Donna carries at Healthy Alternatives.
Very cool.
So, do you have any questions before we go?
Yes, actually. I have a cough. I was telling you before. What could I use?
Okay, I'm going to give Brittany some immune boost. So this is
perfect.
a blend that I did. Eucalyptus smithy. It has some lemon, which is immune boosting. A little bit of our ethically harvested sandalwood. Helichrysum, which is another oil, and some lavender for synergy.
Perfect.
So Brittany's
Thank you
going to
so
use a few
much.
drops on the bottom of her feet and on her chest.
And then I'll make my shoes smell better too.
Yes, and we hope she feels better next week.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. You're a great guest, and I hope to see you guys all next week. This is Valerie Graham for Natural Bliss. Thank you.